Good morning. What's up, guys? Welcome to Valley Vibes. Today is October 4th, Friday, October 4th. Ruby, how's it going?
Hi, Joshua. I'm doing well. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Isn't it crazy like how fast time flies? Like I remember it being 2021 and I was
Oh,
telling my
yeah.
studio partner here at the studio, like, dude, by the end of this year, it's gonna be 2022 and we're gonna look back and like it's gone. And now we're in 2024, about to get to 2025.
Yes, exactly. I was like, where did September go? Like, how are we in October already?
For real. Before we get into the show, tell everybody about yourself.
Yes, of course. So, my name is Maritza, but I do go by Ruby, and I am a mom with two children. I have a dog, and I am currently a wellness coach. My goal is to help everyone as much as I can with all of the knowledge that I have in terms of wellness, fitness, and nutrition. So, making everyone's life a whole lot easier from, your mind and your body. So that's my overall goal. And I spend my time learning, exercising, and helping others.
Awesome. Uh, about 2.5 years ago, I started my weight loss journey and fitness journey. Probably about 4 times before that, I lost significant weights, but it wasn't like through weightlifting. So like 2.5 years ago, I started strength training, and I was like, oh, I should have been doing this like a long time ago. Like this is what I should have been doing for me specific, right?
Yes.
But ever since then, I weighed 250 pounds and I got down to 186. So I'm hovering about 196 now. So I've stayed there consistently through January. But it was only through the whole process that I'm able to like learn all these things. And it took like so long. I
Exactly. Yeah.
get why people fail. Like it's hard, like going 6 months
Hmm.
without seeing any results. And then finally you start seeing little things and then you have to keep going and going and going. But the reason why I'm saying that is because after I lost all that weight, I was like telling everybody, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this. And I found out
Hmm.
real fast that like nobody likes to be told what to do, right? And
Yes, exactly.
so I was like, there's a huge obesity problem here in the Rio Grande Valley. Like the question I have for you is, we were ranked the most obese city in the nation, McAllen and surrounding cities. How does that make you feel?
I'm actually surprised because I recently moved from Houston down to McAllen, and I was not aware of this situation. So I was surprised. I have seen some influencers do videos of McAllen, of all the foods that we have available to everyone, the different types of foods and restaurants that there is. But I was quite surprised because this is actually, well, in McAllen is an area where I've seen so many restaurants that have meal preps and healthy food options for everyone. I've seen a lot of wellness and fitness events. There's so many 5K um, marathons available. I've seen so many events going on. Like, there is a big movement on wellness here. So it is quite a surprise to me. But if those are the statistics, we obviously have to do something about it.
Yeah. And when you take on clients, and how long have you been doing this?
For 2 years.
So in these 2 years and all the clients that you've seen over the past 2 years, like what's the number one thing that they struggle with? And this is mostly women, right, that you cater to?
Yes.
Yeah. What's the one thing that they struggle with the most? Like the top, like what is that one thing?
So there's two that sort of are brought up a lot, and it's the nutrition part. So they're not able to stick to nutrition for a long time. And the second one is the events. So it goes hand in hand, nutrition and events. Us Latin people like to go out a lot, to restaurants, have family time, and we don't always have like the best options available for our health. If we're on a weight loss journey or anything like that, it's not easily available to us when we go out to these events. And we're always sort of encouraged by our surroundings, our family, with different types of foods. So one of the biggest challenge is keeping up with your nutrition.
No, no, I have to agree because I'm an emotional eater. So like sometimes like I'll just like I think at one point I was like eating a whole pizza and all that stuff. Like especially during COVID, right? During COVID, like my drinking went up, my eating went up, and I guess I could have been associated with depression. I can assume, right? But yeah, I can see that because we live in the Rio Grande Valley where food is really good, right? And
Yes.
it's kind of like you just eat and you eat, and I feel like 40% of the population here in the Rio Grande Valley is in poverty. I don't know if it has anything to do with, the obesity rate, the diabetes and stuff like that. I can only assume that it does, right? Because it is obviously cheaper to eat like crappier food, right? Unfortunately.
Well, it
Or am I
depends.
wrong? It has a misconception?
I do have a different opinion from that because I came from, poverty. So I started my wellness journey back in when I was 13 years old. I was bullied and it got to me. I fell into depression, anxiety, and and this is one of the reasons why I want to help people because I don't want them to go through this. And my first thought was to eat lettuce, and lettuce is like $1 at the store, right?
Yeah,
I'm not telling anybody just to eat lettuce because this is not healthy. But I know some people say, well, you get $1 cheeseburger at McDonald's, but you can get like apples at this grocery store. You can get yogurt, very small things that keep you full for a very long time. So it just depends how we want to spend our money. Like a big old bag of rice can last so long and it keeps us a lot fuller than just a small cheeseburger that we're going to eat in just one meal
right.
versus a big old bag of rice that we can spread out throughout the week.
Yeah. I think one of your tips that I saw on Instagram was you had like cucumbers or something like already peeled and cut in the refrigerator. I was like, that's
Yes.
genius because I love to snack
Yes.
all the time. So I started doing that. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Yes, absolutely. We can have cucumbers already peeled, and they're what, three for $1 at the
Yeah.
store.
And they fill you
Um,
up with some
yes, they
tahini and stuff.
do. Yeah, and they're so savory with all of that on there. Also jicama, betabel, all of these different vegetables that we can eat. I mean, it probably doesn't have protein, but it's a lot better option than a $1 cheeseburger.
Yeah, let's stay on the subject of nutrition because I feel like a lot of people don't know how to eat. And the only reason I understood this because I started counting calories when I started my weight loss journey. I counted my calories for about a year and I was like, "Oh, this is like what I'm putting into my body. Like now I can see
Yes.
it at a certain different level." Can you kind of talk about the importance of that? Because I feel like just people just eat and eat and eat, and they're like, "Well, why aren't I losing weight? Or why am I gaining weight?" Like they have no clue what this is.
Exactly. So it all boils down. I mean, I don't want to say it all boils down to this, but it's one of the main factors for either weight gaining or weight loss is your calories in versus calories out. Now, there are a lot of other topics around it, like hormonal issues, depression, anxiety, all of that, the raise in insulin and things like that. But at the end of the day, if you track the amount of calories you're eating, and you're seeing a change, a weight loss change, you continue following that pattern. But if you don't see a change, let's say, for instance, I'm eating 2,000 calories, I have all these uh, issues going on with hormones, stress, um, everything that you can include with, mindset issues or things like that. Let's say you do 2,000 calories and I don't see a change. Um, I'm gonna bring it down to 1,800 calories. If I don't see a change, bring it down again. So it's just a matter of how much energy you're bringing into your body, how much does it actually need, and it also goes hand in hand with the amount of activity that you do.
Yeah,
So if you're not moving a lot and you're eating so much, do you really need all of that energy if you're not moving?
right.
So it's calories in, calories out, and making sure that the calories in are actually of quality. You
Right.
don't want to just make them of, oil-based foods like a cheeseburger, which is not going to keep you full, and it's going to want to keep you eating more.
Yeah.
So it's quantity and quality. I know, like, depending on what your budget is, I still don't think there's a problem around that, because a lot of people, like, even have, let's say we are in poverty, they're able to throw parties. I've seen
Yeah.
this in Mexico. Every week you have a party, or they do their carnita asada and stuff like that. So there's enough for your health, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting thing too because like I started eating a lot more clean nowadays, and I eat the same thing Monday through Friday. I eat chicken breast and tostadas, like that's my lunch, and then I'll eat the eggs for dinner.
Mhm.
Like I think so many chickens have had to die for my own whatever. But I eat the same things every day. That way, I kind of like figured out that I'm counting my calories through a week long journey instead of like
Mhm.
daily, right? So in the weekend, I can afford to eat like some pizza or something like that, or have a few. Oh, did you? There you are. Or have a few drinks or something like that. I think that's the part that kept me sane, is because like if you're eating the same crap every single day, like it gets real monotonous over and over and over again. So
Yes.
you really do have to have those cheat meals. And I think I just kind of want you to touch on, like, you can enjoy some food sometimes, but also stay on the straight path. Like if you have a
Yes.
goal, like kind of touch on that.
So, what I recommend all the time is follow a plan that's sustainable for you. Because let's say I'm able to eat Monday through Friday, I'm able to eat, a strict meal, and then I'll have a little bit of fun on the weekend. Not everybody can do that. What if I want to eat an ice cream on a Monday? You can
Yeah.
still do that, but, again, track your calories. And depending on what your goal is, you can move your macros around, your protein, your carbs, and your fats. So, sustainability is what's really going to keep your weight loss journey, for you to stick to it, to keep
Yeah.
that momentum, and you can include ice cream in there in your weekly. Sometimes I've done it daily, and I'm able to lose weight while eating ice cream. So it's not necessarily, sometimes, like, for a weight loss journey specifically, it's not what you're eating, but how much of it for
Yeah.
weight loss.
Let's push in that, because I don't think people really understand. Like you say, it's not about how much, it's about what you're eating, right? What so that the opposite.
The opposite.
So say that again.
Yeah, so it's not about, what you're eating, but how much you're eating for a weight loss journey.
Okay. So yeah, so for example, like I like Halo ice cream, so I can eat Halo ice cream as long as it's within my calories
Yes.
for that day. So yeah,
Yes,
I think that's
absolutely.
important because people don't understand that you can enjoy all the stuff you want.
Hmm.
And I had talked about that one time, and I got a lot of backlash at it. Like they couldn't believe I was saying that. I was like, well, it depends on what you put in your mouth and how much you put in it. Like it really
Yes.
is dependent on that. And that's why you can see like a lot of people have like massive plates and stuff like that, and they're still like maintaining or even losing weight.
Yeah, and one of the, like, a short scenario, some people say, okay, I'm eating healthy, but I'm not losing weight. And it's because, for instance, let's say, avocado oil is healthy. But if you're putting 2 tablespoons in your food of olive oil, that's already over 150 calories of just oil.
Yeah,
So it
just
doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's healthy. It, at the end of the day, boils down to how much of it you're eating.
yeah, yeah. I really had to adjust that because I took out a lot of oils because you can obviously eat a lot more protein and carbs versus the
Yes.
fatty stuff. So yeah, it took me a long time to figure that out. I would say it took me about 40 years to figure that out. So people like you that are sharing this, and I think it's important because I feel like most people just don't know how to eat, and that they really
Hmm.
don't understand it. Have you ever tried fasting?
Yes, I have. It's not my favorite thing to do. I don't do it. Like, there's different cases where I would recommend it, but I only do it, like, maybe on the weekends.
Okay, the hardest time.
So like let's say on a Saturday, because I don't work out on the weekends. I keep my training Monday through Friday. And let's say a Saturday, I wake up at 9 or 8, and I try to eat my first meal by like 11 in the morning. So it's not like a fasting, a 16/8 or anything like that, but I just push my meals out further so I can eat less on the weekend because I know I'm gonna have my cheeseburger or my pizza. So I try to eat less.
Yeah, I talk about fasting a lot because I started that journey about 2.5 years ago. And I still do it. I don't eat till about 2 p.m.
Hmm.
Monday through Saturday. And a lot of people are like, well, you can't be telling people this. You can't be telling it because people are going to try. And, it's obviously different for everybody, right?
Yes.
I was like, well, this is my experience. Like, this is how I combat, what I
Hmm.
do for a living, And I think that food addiction, that I assume I have some type of food addiction. And I was talking to a buddy of mine, and he was like, no, it's not food addiction. Well, I think about food all the damn time, but I think everybody does, right?
Yeah.
Obviously. But the thing is, like, with that being said, it's like that helps me kind of push food away from my mind. Like I'm
Okay.
busy all morning, and then I'm at 2 o'clock. I'm just gonna eat the chicken and tostadas. Like that. That's
Hmm.
already in my mind. That way, I have less decisions and less stress throughout the day. Because I don't think people
Yes.
really understand that. Like thinking about where you're gonna go for lunch or what are you gonna do for lunch. That's like a stressful thing. Like, can you
Hmm.
kind of touch on like the stresses of life and like what that does to like your health?
Yeah. So thinking like if I don't meal prep, I'm stressing about where I'm going to go out to eat. Um, Typically, if I don't meal prep, I do go to Starbucks.
Okay.
So, and that's the whole stress around it, waiting in line, waiting for them to do your meal. It's pricey. Sometimes they don't have what you want. So it just causes a lot of, tension in the body. And with that, like there is a part of you that, depending on your mood, if you eat your food either happy or sad, it will cause even more stress within your body.
Interesting.
So yes, it makes a whole difference. For instance, some people eat an ice cream and they're guilty. I'm like, then don't eat the ice cream if you're going to be guilty. And if you want to eat it happy because it's going to affect your digestion.
Hmm.
If you're stressed, the body is in a fight or flight mode. So it's stopping digestion. It's like, no, we need to alleviate your stress first, and then we can go move on with digestion. So if you're stressing about what you're going to eat, it's going to impact your digestion.
Interesting. I had never heard that. Let's talk about the like the misconceptions of nutrition and fitness. Like for me, like I'm a busy professional. A lot of people that I talk to are busy professionals, and a lot of them were like, "Well, I don't have time for fitness. I don't have time for nutrition." So what are the misconceptions about fitness and nutrition when it comes to like individuals?
Some of the misconceptions, well, they have a lot of people try to do something quick. That's
Hmm.
that's the first one that I hear. It's like, oh, did you hear about this new diet? I'm gonna try it. Or did you hear about this new pill or medication? Um, those quick fixes are sometimes going to impact you more than help you because they're not helping you build new habits to maintain that new diet that you started. So, building habits, changing your lifestyle is what's going to help you keep a sustainable diet for you. And I mean, I don't want to call it diet, but it's a lifestyle. You want to be healthy, you want to feel better. So, really making the habits to eat the best foods for your body. Like, why wouldn't you want to feed yourself good stuff to feel good?
Yeah, well, I would
Um,
I would argue on the other end of that is that people are like, "Oh, I'm eating pizza and tamales. That makes me feel great."
A lot of, but then why do we question, how am I going to lose weight, or how am I going to, or why do I feel this way, or I feel bloated? So they do bring up a lot of these issues that they have after eating that pizza, and you can enjoy it, but you have to maintain a balance
Yeah.
to to improve your health, your overall well-being, to have longevity.
So when you talk about wellness, like just dumb it down for me. I'm an ape here, right? So what is wellness?
Wellness, I love wellness because it's 360 for me. It's your mind, your body. That's what I would break it down to. But if you split it out, it's stress management, it's time management, it's your spiritual health, your physical health, your emotional health. So it's all of you,
Yeah.
inside and out.
The health, wealth, love, happiness, the whole everything.
Yes.
So when you talk about like your mind, right, the mindset, what is the mindset that somebody needs to adopt when they're coming into like a fitness journey? Because like when I started, I was like, I told my trainers like I'm only interested in vanity, like that's all I'm interested in. I only want vanity at this point in my life. I was like, I've lost weight significantly 4 times before. I always had body dysmorphia. I think I still have body dysmorphia. I don't think it ever goes away. We can touch on that subject right now.
Yeah.
I feel like at this point, it's like the mindset that I had to go in was like, this is going to take a while, and this is not going to take this next 6 months. It's not going to take 2 years. It's literally the rest of my life. I feel like a lot
Yeah.
of us have to get up every single day and fight for our lives. Like as hardcore as that sounds, I'm beginning to believe that every day a little bit more and more. What are your thoughts on that?
So I've always mentioned that mindset is the first thing that we have to really work on before we start any journey. We have to realize the changes that we're going to make before we enter something. We have to have not a complete understanding because we're going to continue learning. That's absolutely fine. And we're going to fail and we're going to get back on. But I think that's the excitement about life. You get to fail to be able to succeed. You get to make your mistakes and continue learning. And a lot of people don't really enjoy the process, and that's
Yeah.
what I really educate everyone around. Like, enjoy that you don't have good form. Enjoy that you're having a step back, because that's the beauty of it. You're going to be able to tell your story. You're going to be able to help others and really share your experience. So mindset is where we're either held back by our mindset or we're pushed forward.
Yeah.
And that's what we need to make it strong in order for us to be able to make a change.
Yeah.
So mindset's the big thing. It's the number one thing we need to not focus on, but start there.
How can people like develop that mindset? Because I feel like it's just like everything's stacked against a lot of people. Like for example, like I've been going to the gym for 2.5 years, right? And I say that I got great results, but then other people come in like 6 months, they're like got better results than me. I'm like, dude, that's why I like throw it in, like forget this. But my mind is like, this is a journey. Like what do people
Yes.
have to adopt to be able to like, stick it out?
One of the things I mentioned is love yourself, because you are unique and nobody is going through what you're going through. Nobody is you, and you are your own journey, your own experience, your own unique self. So comparing to others, it's completely normal. We all do it. But we have to understand and again enjoy what we're going through and really focus on our goals. Sometimes there's a lot of thoughts in our heads that are backing us up. And what I recommend is to journal, do journaling, write it down. Whatever it is that you're thinking about, write it down. If and this also leads to a lot of anxiety, because people just start thinking and thinking and thinking, overthinking, and their mindset is like crumbled up. We can, picture it as a crumpled paper. But once you start writing things down, it'll, flatten out, and you'll be able to see all the problems that you have in your head, and you can be like, well, this is pointless. This is, I can do something about this one. Really laying it out and clearing out your mind. So writing down goals, writing down action items for everything on that list. So journaling, talking to others, getting experiences from others to help your own journey.
Yeah. What is it about like journaling and lists? Because I talk to people about this all the time. It's like you should make a list because it'll make your life easier. You check it off and
Yes.
on to the next one. And people are like, oh, that's stupid, dude. Like, I'm not gonna bother that. Or even goal setting. Like for a man
Yes.
specifically, goal setting, it's looked at like by other guys like, dude, that's stupid. Like, why do people think that way?
I've experienced this a lot with many people, and I was one of them. I'm not gonna lie. Years ago, I was like, no, I can handle this. Like, we think that, sorry,
Oh, good.
we think that we can, do it all. But we really can't. We have to accept that we need help from others, that, writing it down is, even though it may seem dumb for others, just try it. Just try it and let me know how you feel. That's basically what I tell them.
Yeah.
I've been with a lot of people that are like, no, I'm not going to do that. It's a waste of time. And I'm like, just try it, like, let me know the changes that you experience after it. And some come back and tell me, wow, like my brain feels relieved. And I'm like, you see, I told you, it doesn't hurt to try.
Yeah, it's like you have to get all those thoughts out because if they
Yes,
stay in your head, they just all jumbled around, and like you keep on getting those
exactly.
little stresses every day, and then throughout the week it adds up, and then throughout the month, and then throughout
Hmm.
the year, you look back like, shit, why am I so stressed? Like, geez,
Yes, we're not robots, we're
yeah.
humans.
Although we would like to be, but is it a pride thing that most people like they want to do things their way without listening to somebody? Like, for example, like yeah, obviously, I might go to conferences and stuff like that. Like, I'm paying to learn amount of knowledge within a distilled amount of time, which is in like a 3 day weekend, right? But I only learned about that like a few years ago when I started learning and learning and learning. And I was like, oh, I could just learn from experts that already do this, and I can either pay them $500 or $5,000 within that weekend to learn
Hmm.
these concepts, right? What is it about that people won't do? Is it just because they don't know about it, or is it a pride thing?
Um, yes and no. I mean, pride may like either, you know, it's one of the reasons why we make certain decisions in our lives because of our pride. But I would say another thing with that is fear. Like, and also, again, we might think that we know it all, or we might say to ourselves, but if I do this, will I really learn? Or, it's just the fear of taking that risk. Not a
Yeah.
lot of people are risk takers, and we have to take risks in order to improve ourselves. We have to invest in ourselves and, continue learning, because if not, we're just going to stay in the same boat and have the same concerns, the same questions, the same knowledge. And in order for us to grow, we have to take risks and continue our learning, our education.
Let's push on that fear because I feel like a lot of things stem from like one basic thing, and I feel like my opinion is it's fear. Like I feel like people fear everything. Like they don't want to do something because they're scared of something. It might be disguised
Hmm.
as something else, but is there any truth to that?
Yeah, I mean, not to everyone, obviously. There's always these scenarios of, um, I don't like, some people say it's not fear, but the root cause may be fear. And
Yeah.
it always has to do with, the past. What have you gone through? Your past experiences. Maybe the person has traumas and it's holding them back. So it's fear, it's history, and it's how you view whatever it is that you're trying to do. So again, your mindset, and mindset is, we have fear in there, but it definitely holds us back. And we just have to learn to accept certain things in life and tell ourselves, if I don't do this, do I want to continue seeing myself in the same place the next 5 years? Um, and this is why I always recommend a coach, because not everybody knows this. They might know they don't want to take the risk. They might know they have a fear, But if they don't speak out and look for help, they won't know that it was fear, or they won't know that it was themselves pushing them back. Because a lot of people also have excuses. They're gonna excuse everything over and over again. Like, oh, I can't do that because of this, and I can't do this because of this. But it's fear pushing them back.
Yeah. What do you say when they say, "Hey, Ruby, but you don't understand my life. Like I'm going through this, and I'm unique, and I'm going through these problems." I feel like a lot of humans, we go through the same problems in life, right?
Yes.
Obviously, some are on a spectrum of like some are really high and some are really low, but I feel like as humans, we go through a lot of the same emotions. And I always ask everybody, like, how many emotions do you go through like during one day? And some people go through a lot of them. Some people go through all of them. It's kind of
Yeah.
strange, but that brings me to my next part is anxiety. Like I had never struggled with anxiety in my life until I turned about 41. And I was like, I've never experienced it ever. So this is like a new thing to me. It feels like you can't breathe, like the world's coming in on you. Have you ever experienced anxiety?
I have. I have experienced anxiety multiple times, not to the extent of, that I have to go to the hospital or I have to be on medication. There's certain levels. But anxiety, one of the um, strategies that I took to improve it and decrease it was changing my nutrition and keeping up with my fitness journey. That's what really clears my mind and helps me, not get into the state of like I can't breathe, or I'm feeling like, I'm getting closed in. So I have experienced it. I mean, I know there's other people with different levels, but for every problem, there's a solution. We just have to want to find that solution.
Yeah, and I would argue that a lot of people are fearful of finding that solution or like the root cause of it. And I feel like
Hmm.
it's a lot of people just don't like to talk, and especially for men, like men don't like to talk about anything. It's like that's just who we are.
Yeah, and that's why I love wellness coaching, because a part of it is questioning everyone around me a lot. Like instead of me doing the talking, I do the questioning, and it really opens them up. I tend to have, and I've always asked this. I was like, why do people open up to me? And I was like, maybe that's why I'm a wellness coach. But asking questions, just asking. And people let out their information. And I never share it because as part of my wellness coaching, it's everything is confidential. But I love to get them out of their comfort zone and push forward for a greater life.
Yeah. What is that like barrier that people like they finally get comfortable? Is it like a series of questions that you ask, or is it the way you ask it, or is it just that they're comfortable in front of you?
Well, I mean, there's different methods depending on the person, because every session is completely unique as the person is, and depending, if we have any common, um, if we share any common, activities or things like that, or maybe I know something about them, and then we just break the ice in the beginning, and from there, they start to get comfortable, and then I start asking them questions that they can answer if they want to or not. But I do let them know um, the more comfortable, the more rapport that we build together, the better relationship we have, the better I will be able to help them.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people just don't have conversations, and a lot of people just don't take time to think. Is there any truth to that?
Yes. A lot of people do like to action on things. They're just doing things throughout the day, but that's where mindfulness comes in. Sit down to actually take a breath and realize what you're doing right now. And I've been there. Years ago, I was just doing things, and I've never questioned myself, what am I going to do in 5 years? I never questioned myself, is this diet good for me? Or, until you start seeing, um, things that are affecting you. Then you're like, wait, what should I do? Oh, that's what was happening. So
Yeah.
people sometimes wait until they see an impact.
Yeah.
And that's where wellness coaching comes in. We prevent them to reach those impacts. So we try to prevent people from reaching cholesterol or diabetes. We don't cure it, but we help prevent you from reaching that.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the way the world is going, like with preventative medication and stuff like that, is the new thing, because like obviously you go to a doctor and just can like give you a pill or something like that to like kind of subdue it, right? But I feel like there is a huge movement of going towards wellness and mindfulness, because I do see it. Like a lot of people are preventative. They see, like, especially like my grandfather is 95 years old and he still exercises, does what he can. And you see like the younger generation as that they're a little bit more active. Were more willing to go and do stuff or play outside.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the middle age part, like where I don't know if it's because of the food quality or what, or the lifestyle, but you're starting to see like my age demographics. I'm 43. Like we are projected not to live as long as our grandparents, and our kids will obviously live longer. So it's an interesting thing where like we have the stresses of our grandparents and our parents, and then we have the stresses of our kids. Like, is there any correlation, do you think, like we're just a stressed out middle area?
I mean, I think it has to do with a lot of the shifts in economy. I mean, we're in the generation where um, we were there before, like a lot of the restaurants started, being made. There wasn't this much restaurants back in the days. And where we were there before, we're there now, and then now we're trying to like mitigate everything. You know, all the new things that came out, we were like, oh my gosh, what is this? What is that? And things like that. So it maybe has a lot to do with the economy, technology, all of the new stuff coming out. And then now it's like there's a lot more research. So then the new generation is like, oh, we're not going to do what they did.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, technology, economy, just all of that takes an impact with our health.
Let me ask you this. I got huge into AI last January when I first got access to ChatGPT, and I started diving into AI like for 2 to 3 hours a day just to learn it. And I still study it quite a bit. And I was hearing that if you can last within the next 5 to 10 years, with the advancements of AI and robotics, you'll be able to live 200 to 300 years old. Would you want to live that long?
No.
Let's dive into that, because it's a very thought-provoking idea.
I think my quick answer right now, without a thought, would be no, just because, I mean, I don't know, how would I look?
Well, that's the thing too, because with like AI, like you'll be able to like have the body you have now and the same vitality. Your skin will be good.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the advancements that they're talking about. To be like a modern day vampire, like that stuff.
Wow.
So
Okay.
that's what they're talking about.
Way.
Would you want to live that long? And the question also on top of that is, with all like the life experiences and everything that humans go through, do you want to carry like those burdens for the next 200 300 years?
Wow. I mean, I think if I think about it again, obviously I would want to be there for my children as much as possible. And I love learning. So give me more years of learning and I'll stay.
Yeah.
Helping and learning.
Yeah, it's an interesting concept, because like the Rio Grande Valley is predominantly Catholic, right? And we have a lot of religious values and stuff like that. So like thinking about living that long and going, or either leaving and just going up to heaven or something like that.
Yeah.
They're very polarizing things, and I feel like the way the world's going right now is it's all going towards digital. Like everything's digital. We're having a conversation digitally, right? So, and the great thing about this is that this can reach all over the world. Like this is the world that we live in now, where we can reach other human beings. And on that subject of social media, is it a good thing that social media is around for kids? for adults and then like for the older demographic, right? Is it a good thing that everybody has a voice?
Um, I mean, there's pros and cons. I'm all about, if others have easier access to education, to what's going around in our world, then I'm all for it. But there's also a lot of negative things going on social media where, just there's bad people out there that are not making the lives easier for others. So if we use it for the right purposes, of course, I'm all in for it. But there's always going to be good and bad.
Yeah, one of the things that I had to change with my mindset on that was I remember when my daughter first got like with getting on TikTok, and this was like when the Ukrainian war was happening with Russia.
Hmm.
And I was on TikTok and I was like, they're showing like people getting bombed and stuff.
Yes.
Like my daughter has access to that. Like imagine the world where, and the crazy part about that too is I feel like a lot of kids have gotten desensitized to like death. Like as
Yes.
strange as that sounds,
It
like
changes their perspective.
yeah, let's dive on that. Like you have young kids, right? I have a 14-year-old daughter that's about to go to high school, which I'm not ready for at all, and I have a 7-year-old boy, right? So, navigating that life is it's a difficult, stressful situation for parents. What do you see on your end as far as like social media and stuff? Do you allow your kids to have social media?
I don't, honestly. They do let me know that a lot of their friends at school have, phones and have TikTok and all of that, but I don't let them have that because I want them to really enjoy, playing outside, being in sports, having relationships with others, because I don't want them to be stuck, in their own little bubble as they're growing up. I want them to really expand their brain.
Yeah.
So, and I know that possibly they're not going to have the same education as other children because the more they use technology, the more their brains advance, or maybe causes. I mean, there's pros and cons. They'll probably be learning more, but maybe they have more anxiety, or maybe they have even more concerns about themselves because they're seeing so many other people out there, and um, they're seeing like all the possibilities that are out there, and in their surroundings they don't have that. So it's good and bad, but I like to keep minds away. I want to keep that control here in my home. If they see something outside, I don't have control of that, but always have that foundation in home.
Yeah. All right, let's switch subjects. Let's go back to body dysmorphia. I think this is an important subject because I feel like a lot of people like struggle with this, especially like ones that have been working out for a while or starting to see
Yes.
results. Like I only started seeing results 6 months after, and at that point I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna keep doing it. And I got 2.5 years later, and I still struggle with the same things. Like, do you struggle with body dysmorphia?
I did, but recently this year, I sort of came to accept myself completely.
Okay.
Whatever process I decide to go on, whether it's bulking or cutting or entering a competition, I have to learn to love myself today. Because if I don't do it today, then I'm never gonna be comfortable with myself. I'm always gonna keep adding more and doing. I mean, continuing your fitness, trying to improve yourself is one thing, but then comes in vanity and saying, well, I don't like how I look today, or I don't, if we eat a big meal, oh, I feel so bloated, and like taking off that negative side is really going to help us, see ourselves in a positive way and be able to love everyone around us as much as we love ourselves. It really impacts. I mean, it happens. I've seen it so many times. It's everywhere in the fitness industry. We may look our best, but to us, in our own eyes, we still need more. But
Yeah.
if we don't love ourselves now, then when,
Yeah,
accept
it's a very
today.
interesting thing. Yeah, and I feel like a lot of it goes back to loving yourself, right? But it's purpose. Like you talked about purpose earlier. Like, how do you find purpose? If everybody's like, I don't know what to do in this life. I'm getting up every day. I'm just going through the motions. How do you find purpose?
Purpose. So within the wellness spectrum, you have five areas, which is emotional, your physical, your spiritual, your mental health, and stress. So I make sure that each of those areas are well enough for me to be able to give my all to my children. So it's my children, it's my goals, it's today. How do I feel today? And what can I do to make tomorrow a whole lot better? Because I think one of the ways that we can find our purpose is setting goals, setting short and long-term goals. And I know a lot of people can say that's dumb and things like that, but it helps. It actually does help. Um, I mean, I'm not perfect, so sometimes my mindset does shift. I wake up thinking, is that really my purpose? But I do then, ask God. I read the Bible and I tell Him, I'm following Your way.
Right.
And not, it depends. I mean, if you're religious or not, but that's my spiritual side, and that's what helps me find my purpose and stay calm with today. If things don't work out my way, I'm calm. I'm in peace because I know there's a way, and I will follow it based on how I'm taking action today. I'm making sure that I'm using all the knowledge that I have. I'm making sure that I'm helping others, making sure that everyone around me has gotten enough from me. So I find my purpose through religious, spiritual health, and then every other dimension of wellness is good.
Let me ask you this, since you touched on God. I asked God to talk to me. Like he never speaks to me. I can never hear it. And I've asked other people because I'm very, very open with a lot of people. And I said, does God talk to you? He was like, yeah, I've heard him. I've heard his voice. I was like, God, talk to me. He doesn't talk to me. And I feel like he's giving me other cues and stuff like that, but I'm too stupid to like figure it out. Does God talk to you? Do you hear his voice?
No, I haven't. But I feel that, the actions that happen in my life happen for a reason and happen because of him. I know that if I am pressuring on something that I really want to do something and it doesn't work out my way, it's because he has a better plan for me.
Hmm.
So I know that the actions around me is because of him, and that's how he speaks to me.
Interesting. Okay. Let's talk about before we finish off the podcast. I just want to. I do a general consensus of. I ask everybody this. Do you know what Bitcoin is?
I do,
They do. Do you have
but
some?
I don't. Um, I tried investing in Bitcoin. I mean, I just it's like bare minimum. I don't have no deep knowledge. I just know that it's a digital currency.
Yeah. Okay. No, I'm just asking everybody because it's a very interesting technology that I've been investing in for a long time. So it's hard to find people to talk about Bitcoin.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I feel like I'm
I'll
alone
put some
here.
time. I'll put some time into it, and we can talk about it in the future.
Awesome. All right. Well, hey, Ruby, before we finish out the podcast, let everybody know where they can find you.
Yes, of course. So I have an Instagram page. You can find me at Ruby Wellness Beauty. And on there, if you're open up to my wellness coaching, you can either send me a DM or apply on the form that I have on my Instagram. It's a link available to everyone. I also have my website link that is available on my Instagram as well. And you can just shoot me a DM and I can reach out to you there, and or we can talk personally via WhatsApp or text.
Awesome. So the last question: how do we fix obesity in the Rio Grande Valley?
Making a change. um, so there's so many ways, including activity and improving your nutrition, um, and educating yourself on how to do it.
Yeah.
So it's a full circle. And in order for it to happen, we have to pass on all this knowledge to everyone, pass out flyers, help other awareness, bringing awareness to everyone.
Awesome. Well, I commend you on your journey and educating the Rio Grande Valley and everybody across the nation to help live a better lifestyle.
Thank you so much, Joshua, for having me here.
Of course, we'll talk soon.
Yes, thank you. Bye-bye.
See you all next time on Valley Vibes. Bye.